Hey everyone, it's Matthew here. In case you don't know, I am the owner of this channel. I write lyrics to my favorite anime, J-pop, idol, video game songs. I sing, I mix, I organize lots of choruses. And every once in a while, I do a little side video where I talk to you guys, just so you know who's the person behind the channel. It's a chance for me to connect to you, for you to get to know me better. And so for the past couple of months, I have been taking questions for a Q&A that I've been planning for around the new year, so beginning of 2019. And it's also kind of around the time that I'll be getting 4,000-ish subs, so it's also a bit of a milestone video, hooray. Before I begin, I want to let you know that I am working on another chorus. If you want to guess what it is, you can follow me on Twitter. It won't be that hard to guess. It's just it's a Revue Starlight cover, obviously. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's start the Q&A. I have reorganized these questions so they all kind of follow similar themes. And the first little batch is about my role as staff. So what would be your number one tip to improve mixing? And so the number one thing I can say to you is to just mix. Right? You don't get good at something unless you do lots of it. So keep mixing, mix more songs, mix for yourself, mix for your friends. Make it intentional to learn something every time you do a new mix. And it could be, if you're just starting out, learn, how a compressor works. Watch videos about compressors, or watch some videos about EQ, learn more stuff about EQ. Or if you've already had a lot of experience with the basics, try something with a new plugin, whatever. But always try to learn something with every mix. It's really important to finish your mixes and actually get them uploaded or released, even if, and especially if they're not perfect, right? It's because when you finish projects, when you finish mixes, that's when you get the chance to kind of reflect back and learn something from them. Otherwise, if you just hang on to everything in your back pocket and never put anything out, it's harder to learn. And also really important, ask for feedback about your mixes from people who are willing to be critical about them. Now, don't do it after the fact. Don't do it after you've already finished your mix. Do it as part of your mixing process. Get feedback and try to act on it. And, as much as possible, also get feedback from people who kind of understand your level. So they're not asking you for something that's impossible for you at the time. Next question, any tips from a mixer that you'd like to give to singers? And oh boy. So first of all, from a purely technical point of view, learn to use your gear, which means setting the proper gain. Learn to avoid clipping into your microphone. Learn what clipping sounds like, so that when you hear it, okay, I've got to re-record that, because you can't fix clipping in the mix. For my convenience, I ask you to learn how to export your recording at the proper settings, which means an uncompressed file if possible, and in mono, not stereo. From a singing point of view, listen to your own recordings and listen for what you don't like about it, and try to fix what you don't like by retaking rather than relying on your mixer to fix it for you. And also listen to your own recordings and try to get a sense of the type of habits that you have. So do you always, drop your note at the end of a phrase? Do you add a hook onto every phrase? Do you scoop up into your notes? Do you slide down into your notes? So things like, if a typical scale is la 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 la, do you sing it la 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 la? That's scooping, and that's annoying as hell, but it's also a stylistic choice, right? If you do it all the time, it's annoying, but if you do it intentionally every once in a while, that can add some flavor to your singing, at least from my point of view. Point is, listen for your habits, and if you do these things, make sure that you do it intentionally. Don't do it accidentally. What do you use to mix and animate? So to mix, I use Reaper. In order to animate, I basically use money. I throw money at animators because I don't do that myself. Or you can use HitFilm Express if you're broke. There's a free version available. It's quite powerful. and you can buy stuff to expand it if you want. So in terms of requests, can you please do Passionate Starmine during your time of Bang Dream songs? Haha, I already did that. I will be sure to put a link into the video description below. Would you do a project on one of Nicki Minaj's features or actual songs? Because those are great like. My channel focuses on English covers of my favorite Japanese, J-idol, Anisong, Vocaloid songs. There are lots of great English songs, Western songs out there. I've even covered one or two, but by and large, I don't do that type of thing. At Matt, will you ever sing another Love Live song cover, and can it be Ayumu's solo song? A related question from someone else. Are you going to hold auditions for any more Love Live chorus covers? By the way, you rock. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, will I cover more Love Live songs, and can I do Ayumu's solo cover? Maybe once they release the instrumentals. I don't know when that's happening. But seriously, in terms of doing more Love Live songs, it basically depends on what new content they release. I don't do a song just because it's the new thing, or just because it's Love Live. You know, I do songs if I like them. And, you know, the year between the end of Sunshine Season 2 and the movie, which is coming up, has been a relatively slow year. But I'm keeping my ears open for what new songs come up, and hopefully something good comes up very soon. As for auditions, I mean, maybe it depends basically on how much time I have. Auditions can be fun, but they are very time consuming. Whereas, you know, if I just ask people directly to collab with me, I can usually recruit people within a week or two. So yeah. Next question, can I give money and buy your covers? Kimi no na wa? And so you can give me money if you want to commission a mix. I will link that in the video description down below, although currently I am on a hiatus. And then can you buy my covers? That would be blatant copyright violation to sell my covers without a license. Kimi no na wa, my name is Matthew. I am not going to personally cover any of those songs on my channel, at least I don't have any current plans, but I am going to be part of a Japanese group cover of Nandemo Naya, so keep your ears open for that. So the next couple of questions are more about YouTube and the YouTube process. So what inspired you to start making covers on YouTube? And so I hope it doesn't offend anybody if I say that it was Amanda Lee's Sword Art Online covers. I mean, she's, you know, a big inspiration. She, at least from my personal experience, she was one of the first people I came directly across to make properly singable English lyrics for J songs. So she's definitely an inspiration, and I still listen to her songs. In my previous Q&A, I did explain that my brother also started this type of thing before me, and so he was a source of inspiration as well. What do you recommend to beginners at cover creating? Gosh, I mean, there's so much potentially to say. I mean, if you're kind of doing it from the youtaite angle, I would say if you're doing this for fun, then don't be distracted so much by the mixing and the visuals, right? Just keep it simple, sing the songs you like, upload them, and focus on your singing, right? If you look at the early youtaite stuff, I mean, the visuals and the mixing were pretty low budget, so there's no reason why you couldn't start off to sing. Certainly don't limit yourself saying you can't sing covers on YouTube just because you can't mix, or you can't afford a mixer, or you can't afford art or animation. All right, don't limit yourself in that way. Sing for fun, but if you have any intention of having a successful channel, then it's important to sing with the intention of improving your singing, right? So each cover, focus on something you want to do better than the last time, and always upload your covers, even if you aren't totally satisfied with them. You can always take them down later if you want to. If you're doing the YouTube thing, be prepared to get hate comments. People might not like your singing. I've had that plenty of times. be prepared that you might go a year with only 10 subs. That's what happened to me, and that's okay. How long does it usually take to put together a video, to mix, to write lyrics, etc.? And so that depends on the complexity of the cover and the video. So if it's a simple solo cover, I mean, I was able to do Valentine Eve's Nightmare in basically a week. It was a short song, I kept the lyrics simple, there was minimal animation, and it was a very casual cover. If, for example, you're talking about a full-length chorus, I've had projects take 4 to 6 months, right? So lyrics can take anywhere from 1 to 4 weeks, depending on how much of a writer's block I have. Recruiting vocalists, if I focus only on directly approaching people, I might be able to do it in a week, maybe 2, but if I do a casting call, it could take 4 to 6 weeks, because it's a 1-month call, and then 1 to 2 weeks to call people back and to fill in any missing positions. And then oftentimes it takes a month or more to receive all the lines from singers, and another week or 2, depending on how on top of things the singers were, to actually do the mix. If everybody procrastinates to the last day, then I have to start everything from the beginning, and that takes a long time. Whereas if people are submitting lines maybe at the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week mark, I can actually get a lot of stuff done then. And then, once the deadline comes, it's mostly touch-ups. If there's any animation, of course, that can take an extra couple of weeks as well. How do you come up with amazing lyrics? And so flattery will get you nowhere. But for sure, a lot of patience, a lot of revisions on lyrics, right? You have to have the right tools. So you need a good translation. Ideally, you have multiple translations, and it never hurts to have a friend who understands the Japanese language. Use a thesaurus, a rhyming resource. There's a word association web that you can find online to kind of just get ideas on words that you can use. Personally, I do a lot of planning before I even write my first lyric, right? So it's important to listen to the song, the original song that is, and hear, where are the important rhymes? Because, in Japanese, there's only really 5 vowels, and they always sound the same no matter where you put them. So there's going to be a lot of rhymes that are intentional and a lot of rhymes that just kind of happen, and a lot of places where there are no rhymes. And so you want to listen to that because you might want to draw from that for inspiration. You want to listen to the rhythm of the original song, because there's a lot of songs, they will have kind of a catchy rhythm to it, and you want to try to preserve that. Okay, and always mark this down. I have a document with the original lyrics. I highlight, I bold, I underline stuff so that I know when I'm writing my lyrics, these are the things that I might look out for. And then it's important to read the entire translation before you begin writing. You can get a sense of the overall direction of the song, kind of the mood of the song, because those are things you'll want to take into account when you write your lyrics. Personally, if you're asking about writing good lyrics, I think there's the understanding that there is going to be a trade-off between what sounds good and what is accurate. And with a further understanding that depending on the translation you have, what you think is accurate might not even be accurate, right? And so my philosophy is you have to be willing to sacrifice the original literal meaning of the song in order to get something that sounds good. And it goes beyond just paraphrasing, right? You can paraphrase something and it'll still essentially be the same literal meaning, but sometimes things just sound dumb in English, right? Something might sound good in Japanese, but it sounds dumb in English, and you just have to accept that and be willing to change it, even though people, especially fans, don't like changes. And then on a final note, in terms of how to write good lyrics, you have to sing your lyrics, right? If you don't sing it, then you don't know if it sounds good. If it feels terrible coming out of your mouth, then it's probably terrible. Would you consider doing a music live stream? So probably not. That kind of thing requires a ton of preparation. And personally, my live performances aren't that good, and so I'd have to practice a ton before I could sing live on the internet, and so I just don't have the time for that. I have done streams for my gacha roles in the past, so you can check that out. And in the future, I might do mixed streams or even just casual streams for chilling, but that's kind of about it at this point. Do you enjoy music from anime series that aren't music-centered, like an opening or ending of a certain show that has nothing to do with music otherwise? Or have you considered covering them in the future? So I've actually already done it. I've got covers. I've got like a Chobits duet cover with Rosie. I did a Love Hina cover. I covered Code Geass, some more obscure anime. So lots of stuff I've already done way in the past. Most of them aren't that good, but I'm still proud of having done them. So you can check them out on my channel. And for sure, Anna's song has been a big part of my life for a long time. And it's not just the music-centered anime. So the first time I got really invested into anime music was the first Cardcaptor Sakura, which coincidentally has seen a recent resurgence in popularity with the new anime series. Some personal favorites, so Platinum, Toi Kono Mashide, and of course Catch You, Catch Me, big time favorites of mine. And they've had lots of other songs too, right? B-side songs, character songs. I really liked Hitorijime, for example. And if you really pay attention, the name of my channel, Sepia Days Music, is actually based on the B-side of the first Cardcaptor Sakura movie single. And so that song is Sepia no Hi, which means sepia colored days, or at least that was the translation back then. So yes, I love music in general, and I love anime music even if it's not part of like an idol genre. So yeah. Are you into voice acting? I appreciate voice actors for what they do. Personally, I don't have any interest in doing it myself. Do you have a favorite meme? And so memes that stand out, Roll Safe, and SNSD The Boys, and Captain Picard. Do you have a lot of good friends in the youtaite community? I have a few. Are you interested in creating / being a part of original music? So interested, definitely, yeah. Motivated, at this point, not quite, right? It's just at this stage in my life, I don't think I can devote the kind of time into that. The furthest I got into doing anything original was basically my own arrangement of Seinaru Hi no Inori, which I was just last year in December, and that was already a ton of work. So yeah, maybe one day when my life is a bit more settled, but right now it's just not the right time. Covers are what I'm sticking to, especially writing trans lyrics, because that's kind of the thing I love to do right now. Do you have a favorite anime, and if so, what is it? I can't say I have a particular one, but Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood, those are definitely series that I would consider kind of best of the best, just objectively good. Anyone should be able to get into them, whether you like anime or not. Cardcaptor Sakura is, of course, a personal favorite of mine, and it brings back a lot of nostalgic feelings. Although the original series, I don't know if it's aged too well, but that's okay. Love Live, of course, always a special place in my heart, especially School Idol Project, which was the first 2 seasons of the anime, just because of all the people that I met through the franchise around that time. And so the most important question you'll be asked, who are your best girls? And so I currently play Girl Band Party, I play School Idol Festival, I also play Relive, which is the Revue Starlight game. Best girls, Watanabe Yo, please check out my scouting videos. From Muse, it used to be Maki, but I think more recently just probably I like Umi a lot more, and I think maybe it's because of her voice actor and all all the other franchises she's been part of. And then from Bandori Yamabuki Saya. Do you allow others to join your music projects? If so, how? So a couple of questions about collaborations. So I'm not sure if I'm understanding this question properly. It sounds like, or I'm assuming that you're asking about singing in my choruses. And so if you want to know how I get people involved in those, for the most part, I just ask people directly. People that either I know personally, people, maybe I've worked with via projects not on my channel. Sometimes it's just people where I see their work on YouTube and I would like to work with them because I like what they do. And so I reach out to them directly. On occasion, I do casting calls. The best way to hear about those is via my Twitter at Sepia Days. I'm open to collaboration requests, but I have very little spare time these days. And to be frank, you've got to give me a really, really good sales pitch if you want me to be in a collaboration with you, or to help me out or help you out with one of your projects, for example. And so, it's really important if you're asking for that to be mature and professional. It's important that you describe a project that's been well thought out in terms of, all of the pieces, singers, deadlines, mixing, visuals, things like that. And it really helps if I see that you already have reliable people within your project, because so many times I've joined something and the people just were not fun to hang out with, they were not fun to work with, or just nothing gets done. And so I've kind of devoted time for a collaboration that basically was a waste of time. Basically, give me confidence that my time won't be wasted on something that won't pan out or whatever, right? How do you find artists for projects such as the Wonderful Stories collab? And so that one, basically, I just DM'd artists. I did my sales pitch and I asked if they would be interested. So see the previous question. With artists, it's hard because art is extremely time consuming, right? It's something that we should all come to appreciate. And really, the value of art, if you have to attach a monetary value to it, just the amount of time it takes, it's not cheap. And so it's important to respect that not every artist is willing to do art on a collaboration basis. They may only take commissions. And some people will outright say they're not open to requests, and you have to respect that. Other people might be willing to hear it, but they might not be interested in it, or they might be, okay, I can do this, but only on a commission basis, and that's very important to respect. Would you ever consider creating a permanent cover group, or do you prefer finding people as you go? So I do prefer finding people as I go. I do not object to the idea of a permanent cover group, but I'm not particularly keen on it either. I've been in one before, and most people in the community, they're young, right? Either high school, early college, or early career, and that's a time of lots and lots of change, right? And so life happens, people have to drop out of projects or whatever, and there's just so much turnover because of that, and it's having to constantly recast people in what is presumably a permanent group is not appealing to me. And the other advantage of just finding people as I go is you also get to meet new people, right? You get to network, and that's really important. The last question, what has been your favorite song to cover so far? That is an excellent question. If you're talking about my personal covers, so stuff that I actually sang, probably Disambiguation. That's a Police Piccadilly cover. It's my kind of song, right? Singing style, the range, the lyrics were a lot of fun to write, and there was lots and lots of room for harmonies and even a few ad-libs. So that was a ton of fun to do. which, you know, goes back to kind of the one of the first questions, right? It's important for me to sing or cover the things that I like. And if you're singing, it'll be important for you to cover the things that you like as well. Of course, you know, it doesn't hurt to cover a bandwagon song. It's a great way to get views. Nothing wrong with that, but you have to enjoy what you do. Unless it's your job, in which case you have to earn a lot of money with what you do. But I'm assuming you're doing this as a hobby. In terms of my favorite chorus to organize, probably Wonderful Stories. I mean, who's surprised about that one? You know, everybody that I've ever done a Love Live collab with, you know, essentially got almost all of them back together, which, you know, that's hard to do. Big chorus is hard to do, but everyone was really on the ball. And it was good people. The final video came out really well, and you know, it's just a lot of memories associated with it as well, thinking back to all of the previous covers that I did. You know, Mijuku Dreamer, you know, My, Christmas covers, right? And then also the what's it called? The parody cover we did of Hello Hoshi. Yeah, just those 2 years they had their ups and downs, but they were so memorable, and doing Wonderful Stories really tied it all in together. So yeah, that was definitely a personal favorite of mine. Which brings us to the end of the questions. Thank you everybody who submitted questions. Thank you everybody who listened through all of this. This is probably going to be a very long video, and it's not what most of you signed up for, and that's okay. I will be continuing to do English covers of anime, Vocaloid, J songs. The next one will be Starlight, to no one's surprise. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you have any other questions that I can answer. You know, leave a comment if you have a request. I read all of them. I don't necessarily get to all of them. And yeah, I look forward to 2019 with everybody. Hope you all had a happy new year. Take care.